And then there was light, clarity, alacrity, truth, resolve. Welcome to the light bulb moment. It's that one brief, dazzling moment in your life where finally something about this crazy, inexplicable existence of ours makes sense. And you can never be the same again. But history will have you believe that this one amazing moment is really only possible after years of study and introspection and research. And sure, for some of the planet's more infamous light bulb triggers, like Archimedes and his bathwater moment, or Isaac Newton and his famous apple, the old grey matter had a lot to do with these moments, I grant you. But was it really all so black and white? I believe that life's greatest epiphanies are less cerebral and far, far more visceral. When we are at our most vulnerable, when we have surrendered to life, to the pain and to the pleasure, that's when we are flung wide open, ripe for the kind of inspiration that will make us bigger, brighter human beings. But let's not sugarcoat it. We're all control freaks here, right? We are. It's the modern day malady. So that act of surrender doesn't necessarily come easily to us. I get it. However, I'm assuming that you've all had orgasms here? Yes. Very proud man up the back. Yeah. Yes. Well, actually, not here exactly. Silly. That would be a tad illegal, and don't even get me started on the cleanup. But the reality is that we are all very familiar with that sensation of release, because coming is the ultimate physical act of surrender. So let's have a look at the light bulb moment in terms of an orgasm, a light bulb, a life orgasm, in fact. Okay, so it gives you this delicious flash of intense relief, because in that moment you get a very real sense that everything is right with your world. Yes, yes, yes. Did you think that I just had an orgasm, sir? We've only just met, really. Orgasms, huh? Surprising forces of human nature. But I do digress. Okay, actually I don't. You see, my life epiphanies come thick and fast when I am coming. Yeah. During the humble orgasm. I like to call it intimate idea generation. Yeah. Now, much has been written about said orgasm. Well, not mine in particular, but, you know, the generic kind. You know, the few that men and their 4,000 sensory nerve endings pine for, and the 8,000 sensory nerve ending fueled multiples that women can enjoy. But in my opinion, and certainly in my experience, orgasm is that one great originator of light bulb moments. And interestingly enough, some of you may already know this, orgasm has also been dubbed the little death, because in that exquisite, ecstatic moment of free fall, we apparently expend some of our life force. Amazing. And then we transcend, and then we let go, giving control over to something bigger than us. Now, I'd like you to come with me now. Okay, just go with me for a moment, because this is less about titillation and really far, far more about education and perhaps even a bit of inspiration. Now, when I come, I also experience a veritable surge of light bulb moments that could power a small village if given half the chance, and the necessary mood lighting. And it's not unusual to find me post-orgasm hunched over my laptop, tapping out, ask my husband, tapping out all these crazy concepts like some mad woman. Because you see, for me, that moment is a liberating, organic process that's only really possible because of the vulnerability and the lack of control that we have to feel in order to reach that orgasmic state. But for me, it's also an expansion of thought. that goes beyond just, the lotus pose, incense burning kind of thing. It's more about total absorption in the task at hand, so to speak. To put it very simply, it's a totally mind-blowing moment. And that's the key to all illumination, right? Less of this, more of this. And, well, you know what I mean. But where there is light, there's also shade. And just like little death can inspire, death can be just as fertile when it comes to life-altering realizations. Now, I'm sure a lot of you here have lost someone you love. Okay, so in late May 2011, my terminally ill father was admitted to a hospice in Sydney's inner city. Ear-splitting heartbreak lived there. And I ate, showered, and slept there with it. I guess you could say it was like having a front row seat to death, or about as close as you can get without high-fiving the Reaper himself. But when you are the quintessential daddy's little girl, being drip-fed your father's ugly demise, when the end of an era is coming and you want to kick and scream so it never does, when you are surrounded by death, but you're still very much alive, when the surreal becomes your real, when no amount of poetry on death or dying or grieving or rage, when none of that satisfies, when a daughter, when I couldn't stem the devastation that leaked into my heart little by little, day after day, I clawed back control any way I could. I wrote pages and pages of journal entries at my dad's bedside while he slept, and I devoured brochures and flyers that described in minute detail the final fight. And for those of you who don't know, this is a moment in a dying person's end stage where he just can't let go and he becomes incredibly agitated. And I got glib. Glib. Welcome to Death Central. As I'd welcome people in to see my father, and I'd guide them to his room. Now, you come out of the lift, you walk down the hallway, and then you turn left at the rainbow. That's the wall tapestry. Lots of nice little hand-stitched birds, the castle, the yellow brick road, all the classics. Decor so audacious in its optimism, it impressed, but it repulsed me at the same time. Some days, I couldn't wait for Dad's death. And I began checking his charts obsessively, like some kind of macabre daily horoscope. Yeah. U is for unstable. T is for terminal. That's fine. Just don't make it S is for stable, because it's like being suspended above a vat of boiling grief. Drop, scald, scream, release. Repeat. Okay? This isn't fun, and there's nothing light or fluffy about this experience. Where's the positive hidden in any of this? Well, it wasn't hidden. I just had to give in to this world, whether I liked it or not. So I resigned as Death Central's bubbly tour guide, and I stopped focusing on my father's death, and instead I turned my attention back to the life that was still very much in him. I placed my ear to his mouth and I listened. "You are my baby." I could feel him saying it, and the image of him kissing me on my wedding day blazed through the moment. "You love me so much, Daddy. Sometimes so much it's ridiculous." "That's what love is," he said. Ridiculous. On June 13, 2011, around about 3 p.m, I wrapped my arms around my father and I told him it was okay to die. And then, about half an hour later, he did. A gentle, silent fade away. And then a few hours after that, a small smile just touched his lips. And I like to think Dad had turned left at that rainbow. And when he did, my epiphanies flickered to life. In fact, the light bulb started to fire off at such an alarmingly rapid rate. You are enough. Don't live in apology. Love life harder. Love. Ridiculous love. And so I spent the next 4 years of my life pushing my scariest ambitions and me into that spotlight. You see, I'd always wanted my own TV talk show, but I never really owned that desire. Sure, I flirted with a one-woman show at the Edinburgh Festival, and I took part in a couple of public speaking contests, but it was always conditional, you know? Yeah, sure, soak up that attention, hear the applause, satisfy your passion, but only for a moment, because then you have to mutter your apologies, sneak back behind those scenes, tiptoe behind the shadows, because that's where you really belong, Phyllis. But now the light bulbs were powering my every move. And in the 12 months after Dad passed, I pitched an idea for a TV talk show, a men's talk show, and I raised the funding for it, I produced it, and along the way I met my tribe, an inspiring, amazing group of talented artists and producers who actually helped me realise the dream. Serendipity also loomed large, and I could have sworn that some days Dad was orchestrating the whole event. So we shot 7 episodes in one day, and within the space of about 6 months beyond that, my show aired on 2 community TV channels, 1 profiled pay TV channel, and gosh, my little show that could also picked up a nomination for Program of the Year. And thank you. And I also won 2 awards for hosting it. Yeah, that's what I thought. The second one actually named me Most Outstanding New TV Talent. Yeah. Thank you. I love the new the most in that it tickles the 40-something rookie that you see standing here before you. And then a few weeks ago, I got the call from TED. Yeah. Yes! That wasn't an orgasm either, so just clarification. Yeah, I mean, you know, that light bulb just keeps burning. You see, even though it's a brief, dazzling moment in time, the repercussions of a true personal revelation can and should be felt in your life years after you've had it. Now, Isaac Newton didn't act on his epiphany until about 20 years later, I believe. As for old Archimedes, well, let's just say he probably was quicker off the mark because, let's face it, cold bath water and naked men, embarrassing repercussions. So these bursts of true insight, they visit us in our darkest hour, when we are at our most vulnerable, free of guile, judgment. But they don't just snap on, do they? Hey, presto, enlightenment is here. No. Because like the garden variety orgasm, it really is a gradual incandescence. Because after all, good things come to those who yes. Whew. Wow. That was an orgasm, so a fast-tracked fake orgasm, just so you know for next time. Okay. Look, I mean, you know, the truth is that good ideas will come and go, but the true, real flashes of inspiration can burn bright in your life forever. Because you see, light bulbs live in the now, so we need to be present. Even if it hurts, even if it's not convenient, or you just can't be bothered to embrace the moment. Because what's the alternative? Living your life numb. Sleepwalking through the viscera of your experience like 99.9% of the planet. No thanks. We need to get intimate with our lives, with all of it. The highs and the lows, without condition. We must give control over to something that's bigger than us. William Booth once said that the greatness of a man's power is the measure of his surrender. And a woman's power. Yes, yes, yes. The lesson here is simply release. And when we can do that, who knows? Maybe we can all start having light bulb moments that come in multiples. Thank you. Thank you.